everybody, welcome to my channel. My name's Mel. Thank you so much for joining me today for June's Roll of Reads and my Whatever-a-thon TBR. So as I'm sure most of you know by now, the Roll of Reads is my TBR game that I play every single month in order to figure out what I'm going to read for the coming month. All of the rules and everything I have gone through in my Roll of Reads recap video, which I made at the beginning of this year, so I will link that in the description below if you want to go and have a look at that and figure out what all the rules are, gameplay and all of that sort of thing. I also will link the playlist for all of the games that I've played so you can see it all in action. But yes, for today, I'll just give you a very brief rundown. Basically, I have a board which you will see momentarily. You'll see me setting it up with 20 spaces. I place a bunch of cards out, roll dice, and use the dice to figure out which section of the board to then pick up a prompt card from, and then that prompt card is how I determine what book I'm going to read. I also roll a d8 to decide how many rolls I'm going to have to do, and for this month, the challenge that will be my challenge for Whatever-a-thon, which I'll get into a bit more detail in a minute. In terms of punishments, when I don't read a book or a number of books throughout the previous month, if I don't finish my TBR basically, then each book that I don't read off my TBR, off the Roll of Reads TBR, then I have to have a punishment card somewhere in the mix. But I didn't play in May, and I actually did finish all of my TBR for April. So yay! I don't have to have any punishments for June, which is fantastic. Of course, throughout gameplay, I could end up with punishments because throughout gameplay, if I roll a 1, then I have to add an extra roll, and if I roll the same number 3 times, I have to add an extra roll. So that can still happen, but to start out with, I don't have to add any punishment cards to the game board. So that's Roll of Reads, which, like I said, we'll get to in a minute. I'll set it all up. Now, Whatever-a-thon is a readathon that is hosted by Maddie from Book Browsing Blog. She started this readathon last June, and I took part last June. It was really, really fun. So she's doing it again this year in June, and because I had so much fun last year, I am going in it. She has made it a little bit more chilled out than last year. It is still Whatever-a-thon, so the idea is to basically do whatever, but she has made it a little bit more chilled out than last year, I should say. For instance, this year you still pick teams, but you don't have to pick a genre. You can just pick whichever team. So I know which team I'm going to be picking, but I can't remember what the name of the team is. So give me a second. I will be joining the TBR Travelers, which is hosted by Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin, Pris from Pris Peruses, the channel Got a Thing for Things, which I actually had never come across before, so that's exciting. But yes, so there is a bunch of different ways that you can earn points throughout the readathon. I'm not going to go into all the details. I will link Maddie's announcement video in the description below, so you can go and check that out if you're interested in it and you'd like to join us and you've not heard of it before. Then go and check that out, join the readathon, etc. But I'll be joining the TBR Travelers, and I'll just see how I go throughout the month. But this TBR that I'm going to roll up on my Roll of Reads game will be the TBR that I mostly will be reading for Whatever-a-thon. Anything else comes up because there is a bingo board for that team, TBR Travelers. So if there's anything on there that I haven't accounted for, I might get to in the month. I'm just going to stick with my TBR that I make today, and then hopefully that will get me points. The main way that you get points is that you set yourself a goal of how many books you're going to read, and then you read the books. So if you set a goal of 5 books, you read 5 books, you get a certain number of points. If you then surpass that and read above 5 books, you then get extra points as well. So I will roll the d8. I will figure out what my number of books I have to pick for the month is, and that will then be my goal for Whatever-a-thon. If I get any extra rolls in gameplay, I won't add them to the goal, if that makes sense. So we don't have to go through what I read last time because I told you about that already, so I'm not going to do that this time. It's been a little while. I'm just going to go straight into gameplay. So now let's go and set up the board. So I'm going to roll my rolls first and then place the cards out. So this is the number of rolls I have to do for Roll of Reads, but it also will be my challenge for Whatever-a-thon. 8. There you go. Alright, let's get those cards out. Okay, so the board is all set up. As you just saw, I got 8 on the D8, so that means that I have to roll 8 times. Obviously, anything on top of that, if that happens throughout gameplay, I'll have to add that as well. But I think it's time for roll number 1. So let's see how that's going to go. Right, roll number 1. 13 is a recent purchase. You. Alright, fantastic. Place the card. And for roll number 1, I got 13. And on that place was a recent purchase, which is actually kind of perfect because one of the ways that you can get extra points in Whatever-a-thon is all the teams have hosts, and each host has given 3 books that are a favourite of theirs, and if you read one of the favourites, it doesn't have to be from your team, it can be any of the hosts' favourite, then you get an extra amount of points. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's 50 maybe. Anyway, you get an extra amount of points. So I haven't even hauled these yet, but they'll be coming in a haul soon. But one of the books that I most recently purchased and actually received today on the day of filming was Heartstopper, Volume 1. Well, we're going to start with Volume 1. I may end up reading all of them throughout the month because they're not super long and they're graphic novels. If you don't know by now what this is, then I think you might live under a rock. So this is the graphic novel series. This is the first volume of the graphic novel series written by Alice Oseman. It is about 2 high school boys meeting and falling in love. And yes, this is the TV tie-in because it was recently turned into a TV show or Netflix show, which I absolutely love. So I had to get the TV tie-in, which I wouldn't normally do, but it has some script extracts and stuff like that, so some extra stuff, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so this is one of Gavin's favourite books of all time, so that means I get extra points, and it's Pride Month in June, and you get extra points for LGBTQIA plus rep, which obviously Heartstopper is as well, so yeah, plus it's just super cute, and yeah, I definitely am going to read it again in June. So that was roll number 1. Let's go do roll number 2. Roll number 2. 12. LGBTQIA plus rep, which is again also perfect because it is Pride Month. And for roll number 2, I got the number 12 right next door, and on that one we held LGBTQIA plus rep. So of course I could just say, well, I'll probably end up picking up volume 2 of Heartstopper and leave it there, but my last to read book club, which is the book club that I run with Ellie and Lana, I should just say that their channels, along with any other person who I talk about in this video, their channels will be linked in the description below. So Ellie and Lana and I run the Last to Read book club, and our book for June is The Witch King by H.E. Edgmon. This is, I believe, it's a fantasy book that features a trans wizard main character. It's been quite a while since we decided on this book, and I actually don't have it yet. I'm trying to get a copy on loan, but I may end up having to buy it. But yes, so LGBTQIA+. So I thought that that would work because I have to read it anyway. Like I said, I don't really know a huge amount about it, but it definitely works for this prompt, which again, Pride Month, Whatever-a-thon, extra points. So I'm pretty happy with that one. Roll number 3. Alright, and that was number 6. So, POC rep, person of colour. That's for the author. And for roll number 3, I got 6, and for this one it is POC rep. So when I first started this game and I first made these cards, I did have the idea that it would be any POC rep at all, but I've since decided that realistically it should be the author. So a person of colour, an author who is a person of colour. And for this one, I've decided to go with A Reaper at the Gates by Sabaa Tahir. This is the third book in the Ember in the Ashes quartet. I'm not going to go into details about what this particular book is about, partly because I haven't read it yet, but also because it's the third book in the series. I don't want to give any spoilers, but I will just tell you very briefly that the world in which this takes place is a sort of setup like an ancient Roman world. So we have a group of people called the Marshals, and they are very warlike. They have subjugated the Scholars, who are another group of people, and they are very much at loggerheads. And we followed two characters, well, we're actually following three characters in the second one, so we might even follow more, I'm not sure, but we follow three characters, one of which is a marshal, but he doesn't want to be, so he's kind of rebelled and run away. One of which is a scholar, and she is she was captured and has escaped, so they're trying to find her. And the other main character that we followed in, we didn't follow in the first book, but we followed in the third book, was the new kind of head of the army of the Marshals. But yeah, I'm excited to read this. It's been a while since I read the other two, so hopefully I won't have forgotten it too much, because I don't really want to reread them so that I can read this one, but we'll see how we go. I can always swap it out for An Ember in the Ashes if I find that I can't remember enough. But anyway, yeah, so this one is for person of colour. Alright, so let's go see what roll number 4 will be. Alright, roll number 4. 7. Another booktuber's favourite book. That actually works really, really well for Whatever-a-thon. And for roll number 4, I got the number 7. And the card there is another booktuber's favourite book. And again, this works out absolutely perfectly for Whatever-a-thon, because it means that I can pick one of the books that one of the team leaders has said is one of their favourite books. So there's a variety of different books which I'm interested in, but the one that I ended up deciding to go with is The Diviners by Libba Bray. I have read this one before, but I didn't continue on with the series, and I have the first 2 books in the series that I borrowed off my parents. I've had them borrowed for like 2 years, so I really need to read them and give them back to them. I did read this, like I said, a while ago now. I did enjoy it, but I didn't absolutely love it the way that I was expecting to, and I think that's just that it was a bit overhyped for me. So I'm hoping now that the hype has sort of died down about this book over the year or so, couple of years that I've been on BookTube, I'm hoping that I'll pick it up and enjoy it that little bit more. But yeah, this is about, we follow Evie in the 1920s, and I'm just going to read the blurb to you. How about that? Evie O'Neill has been exiled from her boring old hometown and shipped off to the bustling streets of New York City. And she is positively thrilled. New York is the city of speakeasies, rent parties, shopping and movie palaces. And soon enough, Evie is running with glamorous Ziegfeld girls and rakish pickpockets. The only catch is that Evie has to live with her Uncle Will, curator of the Museum of American Folklore, Superstition and the Occult, also known as the Museum of the Creepy Crawlies. When a rash of occult-based murders comes to light, Evie and her uncle are right in the thick of it. Even Evie's new pals, hoofers, numbers, runners and activists, but all swell kids, are drawn into the investigation. And through it all, Evie has a secret, a mysterious power that could help catch the killer, if he doesn't catch her first. So, yeah. I'm hoping that I really, really enjoy it this time. I mean, like I said, I did like it, it was a bit overhyped, so I'm hoping that, yeah, the hype's died down and I will love it. So it is quite a chunky one, but I'm sure I'll get through it. So yeah, that's for BookTuber's favourite. Alright, and on to roll number 5. What are we up to? Roll number 5. 1. Damn. A hyped book. Okay. Alright, a hyped book. I can live with that. Unfortunately, roll number 5 gave me 1, which of course means that I have to add an extra roll at the end, which is a shame, but what can you do? These things happen. So on roll number 1, or on place number 1 I should say, was a hyped book. For this one, I've actually decided to go with something that isn't being talked about very much at the moment, but was quite hyped a while ago and that I haven't got around to reading. I also need to read this for my In Real Life book club because it is the bi-monthly book that we'll be reading. We're supposed to be reading either May, June, and I haven't read it yet, so we're reading it in June. And that is 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. I don't know a huge amount about this one. I believe we follow January, and she is able to go through doorways which are portals into other worlds. I think it's something like that. And yeah, basically has a fantastical adventure. That's basically what I know about this book. I have heard some mixed things about it. I've heard people that really love it and people that don't like it all that much. So I'm really hoping that I come down on the love it side of things, or at least like a lot. This is the book that I will be reading for Hyped Book. I love the cover as well. I think it's just stunning. And fingers crossed. Roll number 6. 5. An award winner. Can it be any award? But yeah, an award winner. For roll number 6, I got the number 5, and on number 5 was an award winner. And I've decided to go with Wimmera by Mark Brandi even. Don't know why I couldn't read that one, but anyway. So this is an Australian, I think it's an Australian crime story. So it is about Ben and Fab growing up in a small town, and then they were almost teenagers. Someone new comes to town, and then some things happen. And then it says 20 years later, Fab is stuck in the same town, going nowhere but hoping for somewhere better. Then a body is found in the river and Fab can't ignore the past anymore. So yeah, it sounds like it's going to be really good. It sounds like it's going to be kind of creepy, and it sounds like it's going to have that multi-generational, multi-timeline POV, which is something that I really, really enjoy. So I'm really looking forward to this one. This was sent to me by Tracy, so thank you very much, Tracy. And it won 2 awards and was shortlisted. So it's won Debut Fiction Indie Awards in 2018 and Crime Writers Association Debut Dagger Award in 2016. So it's an older one. Shortlisted for the Literary Fiction Book of the Year and the Man Richel Award for New Writer of the Year. So yeah, it's pretty popular, and I'm definitely really looking forward to this one. So yeah, that's for award winner. All right, roll number 7. Sister Pics. Okay, interesting. All right. And for roll number 7, I got 14. And for this one, I got Sister Pics. So I messaged my sister and said, can you pick a book out of my want to read shelf on Goodread, my own TBR? And she said yes, so I sent it to her, and the one that she ended up picking was I'll Give You the Sun by Jandi Nelson. She didn't really have a particular reason why she picked this one. She just thought that it looked good. She liked the sound of it, so yeah, that's what she's chosen for me. This is another one that I know basically nothing about as well. The cover really doesn't give anything at all away. I bought this a while ago because I'd just been hearing really good things about it. It is young adult contemporary. It says on the back, Jude and her twin Noah are close until a tragedy drives them apart. Now they are barely speaking and both falling for boys they can't have. Love's complicated. And that's all it says, but hopefully it's really fun. I've heard that it's great, so definitely looking forward to this one. So thank you, Carol. All right, so it is roll number 8. So let's go see what that will be. 18. An audiobook. All right, yeah. I can live with all that. Roll number 8, I got number 18, and on that we had audiobook. So I've decided to go with the Kiss Quotient. No, not the Kiss Quotient, The Bride Test by Helen Hoang, which is the second book in that series. I read the Kiss Quotient a while ago, and yeah, just haven't got around to picking up the next one, and I would like to pick up the next one, so that's what I'm going to do. Again, picking books I don't know a huge amount about. I don't know a huge amount about this one either. It's a contemporary romance, and that's about all I know. But hopefully I enjoy it because, like I said, I did quite enjoy The Kiss Quotient. When I say it's a sequel, it's not an immediate sequel, so it doesn't follow the same characters. It is, I think it's one of those books where, one of those series where we have like a world and we have characters, and so you have the first books about Tom and Jill getting together, and then the second book is about Tom's younger brother, Ben, and him having a relationship. So it's something like that. But yeah, hopefully I really enjoy it. So the eagle-eyed of you will have noticed that somehow, I'm not sure how, somehow I managed to think that I had got up to 8 when I'd only done 7. So I've actually only done 8 and picked out 8 books, which means that I have the extra that I have to do. So, because I am far too lazy to reset up the board and everything for just one roll, I'm actually just going to grab out my other cards, shuffle, and pick another card. And then we'll just see what happens. I'm very bad at shuffling, as I'm sure you've noticed. Alright. Adapted into a TV show. I mean, the first thing that I thought of was Heartstopper, because adapted into a TV show, and it's the first 2 volumes, although I don't have the second volume, but it's en route. But that seems kind of cheating. So I know what I'm going to do. Hang on a second. I'll be right back. Okay. So this one, you could probably argue, was actually more cheating than Heartstopper would have been. But hear me out. I'm going to read Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. So, as we all know, Shadow and Bone was adapted into a TV show, and they included the crows and some of the story from the Six of Crows duology in that first season of Shadow and Bone. So that's why I'm picking this one. So yeah, is that more cheating or less cheating? It's probably way more cheating, since like Heartstopper is very close and this is not even the one that was adapted. But that's what I'm going to go with. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. I've been meaning to read this for ages and I just haven't, and I swear it's been on my shelf for like almost the entire time that I've had a YouTube channel, which is 2.5 years pretty much. So it's about time. It needs to be read. Sorry, I just had to readjust again because I had to get a new battery and whatnot. Anyway, so that's everything. That is all the books that I'm going to be reading throughout the month of June. I don't feel like I'm probably going to actually complete this TBR because some of these books are quite thick. So yeah, we'll just see how we go there. But I'm excited. I think I've got some really, really great books on my June TBR. So wish me luck. So here it is here. Gotta get that for the thumbnail happening. Okay, so that's my June Roll of Reads TBR and my Whatever-a-thon TBR. Do you have any thoughts on any of the books that I have chosen? Are you going in Whatever-a-thon? Have you made a TBR? Let me know all of that in the comments below. Would you have chosen different books for those prompts? Let me know that as well. If you would like to leave me a comment but you don't know what, then leave me a stack of books emoji because I have quite the stack of books for June. All of my social media details are listed in the description below, so if you'd like to go and follow me on any of those other platforms, please feel free to do so. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really hope you enjoy this video. If you did, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, like I said, thank you so much for watching. I really, really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.